All right, everybody, welcome back. Glad to have you guys here on the channel today. And as it implies, I've been watching tons and tons of videos regarding reviews on the Google Pixel 10. This is basically all the current released ones, right? Not the 10 Pro Fold. Google was pretty smart about that one and kind of delaying that one's release, giving people more to talk about later on this year with its, upcoming release of the Fold Pro or Pro Fold, whatever you want to call it. And again, putting the Pixel 10 back into everybody's mind after all the launches this year, right? So we have all the phones for 2025 release, right? The Galaxy S25, the iPhone 17, Google Pixel 10s. They are out. Plus two, some honorable mentions like, the Motorola G Stylus 2025. If you guys want to see an unboxing of that phone, head to BTech's channel, check out his video unboxing of it. I think he got one on Metro by T-Mobile and he unboxed it. And so there'll be some reviews on that. I know that's a pretty popular phone for those people who kind of want a phone with a stylus but don't want to spend an arm and a leg. And then, there's some pretty cool features out of that phone. So, with that being said, with all these reviews that I've seen regarding the Pixel 10, regarding, what people think about it, like, first of all, like, people are entitled to their opinions and everything like that. So I'm not going to shut down their opinions of the phone. I'm not that type of person, but I'm also the type of person that like listens to people who tend to push this narrative where they're really trying to control what other people buy. And that's what I kind of shut down. I kind of break that down. So one of the things that I've heard most about the Pixel 10 is that it is a phone for the Pixel fans. It is a phone for, the fans of stock Android. I'm like, that's pretty weird. That's a pretty weird thing to kind of like push. So it's only for Pixel fans. Like, why? Why the non-Pixel fan wouldn't like it? That was my question. Why wouldn't the non-Pixel fan like it? So as I watch these videos and I go further and further down the rabbit hole, I started to notice, that the narrative being pushed is the cameras. They're always talking about the cameras on it, right? I mean, everybody wants a nice, smartphone with, nice cameras to take pictures. Nobody wants to post photos to social media that look like they shot it from a potato. So, okay, so I started to get that. I'm like, okay, well, cameras. Okay, so what's so bad about the cameras? And I did a live the other day, and I was saying that, the Pixel 10's cameras are awesome. And, it got a little bit of traction from people interested in wanting to know why. So this is going to be like the full scope as to why the Pixel 10, is also good for non-Pixel fans. You don't have to be a fan of Google Pixels to buy this phone to enjoy all that it's going to be giving your way. But I am going to be specifically focusing in the, at the camera department in the beginning. I'll go over reasons after wrapping up that whole camera thing. So if you're joining us then, like right now on this Sunday for Sunday Fun Day Tech Talk, thanks for coming in. Hit the like button. I would truly appreciate it. It gives you the option to, hype the video. It's a new thing on YouTube. If you guys could do that solid and hype the video, I would appreciate that too. That helps out a lot on the channel, so, but anyways, so I, for the better part on release, I pre-ordered my Pixel 10. I got the base model 10. Like I've said so many times, I went with the base model because I knew that most people were going to focus on the Pro models. And so there would be some people out there that's like, well, maybe I don't want to spend that much money for a Pro model. What does the 10 offer? So I got the 10, it was nice on my wallet and it works out because that's the comments that I get from people. It's like, oh, you're covering the 10. Great. Because everyone else is covering the 10 Pro. And I'm like, okay, cool. Well, so I have the 10. I've been using it. Love the experience I have with it. And yes, I'm a Pixel fanboy. So, I expected it to be a great experience for me. Yeah, there's some subtle caveats. Some that I found that most people haven't even said yet. And I'm going to say it today in this live stream too. So if you're interested in Pixel 10 and you're wondering if there's anything that, would be considered a negative about the phone, well, I'm about to give that to you. So, but for the most part, I've been doing a lot of photography on my social media, like on my Instagram and stuff like that. And, just been sharing photos that I've been able to take with the Pixel 10. I've been sharing videos that I've taken with the Pixel 10. I have created vlogs, vlogging with the cameras only on the Pixel 10, just, to see if you can create content for content creators out there who may be slightly interested. And so far for me, it's worked out fine. And for those who are subscribed to my channel, it's worked out pretty decent because, they, no one's coming up talking about the quality of the video is bad and the color representation is bad or any of that stuff. So that's, to me, if no one's mentioning it, then they're not seeing it. If there is, which means that there's not any. Now, if someone was to say, well, you know what, the iPhone shoots better video. Probably. Because iPhones have always been known to be good with videography. That's something that, I won't deny, won't sweep under the rug. I won't try to BS anybody on. iPhones do really good with video. But when it comes to still photo photography, I feel like Pixel is king on that. And Pixel is moving in on the video department. So it's not like, there's a super night and day difference in shooting video with iPhones. But most of the time when it comes to videography, it's always compared from the iPhone Pro models. So you would have to compare that to the Pixel 10 Pro model, which is one caveat to the Pixel 10 Pro model, is that if you're shooting in this high-res 8K, the video actually gets uploaded to the cloud, where they're in the cloud with Gemini, it is it's processed, and the resolution is upped on it to as high as 8K and all that stuff, right? So like that video processing is done in cloud, and it could take several hours to. I even seen people post on social media that it takes like 1 or 2 days. That's terrible. So I would say to anybody who's like superly interested in recording in 8K, it's not going to have the processing done on device. I think the iPhone 17's processing for 8K video recording is done on device. So that's something that, the iPhone 17 Pros will have a leg up over the Pixel 10 Pros. But when it comes to just, recording video, whether you're recording in 1080p HD, if you're recording in 4K 30 frames, you should have no problem at all with achieving those on device processing and, just video ready for editing or uploading, however you want to choose it. So, that would probably be like a caveat that I would name with the Pixel 10 is the whole 8K high resolution video take. But, as I went down the rabbit hole even further, then they were talking about the camera sensors, and they were like, oh, the camera sensors on the 10 Pro is like this and like that. And I'm like, wait a minute. Wait a minute. I was pretty sure about it. So what I decided to do to bring to you guys, and yeah, I'm like showing my whole thing here with, let's take that out. Let's take that in. There we go. Okay, so I decided, what, I'm going to compare 3 devices currently right now. So the 10 Pro, the 9 Pro, and the base model 10. Here's the reason why. Okay, so we're going to go straight to the cameras. All right, main camera setup over here. So here are the specifications for the 3 devices being compared in this particular moment. They're camera sensors, okay? So the only one that has a different camera sensor is going to be the Pixel 10. So the Pixel 10, that's the base model 10, has a 48 megapixel wide angle main shooter. It's got a 10.8 megapixel telephoto, and then a 13 megapixel ultra wide. So that's its 3 camera setup. Okay. Now, if you're wanting to know the size of the lenses, basically, so with the main shooter, it's a 25 millimeter. With the telephoto, it's 112 millimeter, and it doesn't list. Yeah, it doesn't list the ultra wide. Anyways, so to the middle right here, we have the specifications for the Pixel 9 Pro. That's a 50 megapixel f1.7 aperture, a 25 millimeter wide angle lens, right? 48 megapixel f2.8 aperture, 113 millimeter periscope telephoto lens. And then you got a 48 megapixel f1.7, 123 degree field of view, ultra wide. On the Pixel 10 Pro, it is a 50 megapixel f1.7 aperture, 25 millimeter wide angle lens. You got a 48 megapixel f2.8 aperture at 113 millimeter lens, which is a periscope telephoto. So it's got that bend and mirror effect to create And then you have a 48 megapixel f1.7 123 degree field of view ultra wide sensor on the Pixel 10 Pro. So I'm like, wait a minute. If it's got the same sensors as the Pixel 9 Pro, maybe not. Maybe I could be wrong. Who knows? Comment below. But for the most part, when it comes to the specifications of the camera sensors, and each of the camera sensors found in the Pixel 10 Pro and the Pixel 9 Pro, they are the same specifications. Okay. They have the same, just about the same features to them, right? You know, so they have like optic image stabilization, PDAF. You know, they have, the main camera sensor has, it's got dual pixel PDAF, and so does the Pixel 9 Pro. So does the Pixel 10. You know, so I mean, on paper, you know, there's not really much of a difference between the 9 Pro and the 10 Pro, right? The difference found is in the Pixel 10, because if you compare the Pixel 9 to the Pixel 10, the Pixel 9 has a 50 megapixel main wide angle sensor. So the sensors in the Pixel 9 are bigger than what's in the Pixel 10. That has always been, you know, the argument point between last year's Pixels, the Pixel 9 series, and this year's Pixel 10s. And I think people kind of like, they got it so scrambled that it's confused, and so people are really passing judgment when they read specs. This is kind of the reason why, like I say, like, specs don't matter to a degree, is because when you read the specs before using the phone, your mind has already been made up of what you think the experience is going to be, and sometimes your mind will make that, you know, it'll make that into reality for you. Like, if you think that Pixel 10's camera sensors are all smaller than the Pixel 9 series, then even if you use like the 10 Pro, the 10 Pro XL, you're gonna feel like that, as if it's not shooting or it's not capturing in the same quality as last year's model. So this is why it's like, you know, if you're gonna do photography, if your whole thesis is centered around the cameras of these devices, that I honestly feel like people should not read the specs and just go out and shoot photo. Because to me, like, even if you were to focus on what's on black and white, the 10 Pro and the 9 Pro are very similar. They are very similar. And the reason why I say that is because there was one who made a thing of saying like the Pixel 6 Pro has better cameras than, you know, the Pixel 10 Pro. I'm like, how? So here we have it. Pixel 10 Pro on the left, 6 Pro in the middle, 7 Pro on the right. So let's go to main camera. Right? So when you sit here and you think about it, we already know the 10 Pro specs, right? But just, you know, just a kind of refresher, and we'll focus on the main camera sensors only. For the 10 Pro, 50 megapixel, f1.7 aperture, 25 millimeter wide angle lens. For the 6 Pro, it's a 50 megapixel, f1.9 aperture, 25 millimeter wide angle lens. And that lens specification is the same as the Pixel 7 Pro, which is a 50 megapixel f1.9 aperture and a 25 millimeter wide angle lens. So yeah, tell me again where this is just drastic change. If you're gonna focus on specs, right? I'm only going off what you know, some of these reviewers are saying. I'm going off specs like them. Okay. Now, of course, in real world, real life scenario usage, you're going to find some differences. Okay. Maybe so. Maybe so. It's like me, right? Like, I couldn't go and like do, what's up, Brian? Welcome in, man. With I think the sensor size is much more noticeable with video recording than with photos. But like, are you talking about the base 10 or the 10 Pro? Because the sensor sizes are the same on the 10 Pro and 9 Pro. Right? They're both 25 millimeter lenses. I honestly feel like, you know, like the main culprit within all of this would be actually, you know, the video processing and image processing done between the Tensor G4 and the Tensor G5. And remember, the Tensor G4 is going to have a leg in this race when it comes to processing images and processing, video frames, because of the fact that, yes, it was built by the Samsung Foundry, who has had a leg up in this race because they've built the first, second, third, and of course the fourth generation of Tensor. So TSMC is like all like new to it. I'm saying the 10 versus 10 Pro and 9 Pro. Yeah, of course, that's obvious. What I'm referencing to is content creators that I've been noticing that's been reviewing the 10 Pro and then stating that the 10 Pro has such this drastic difference between the 9 Pro. That's what folks like we all know. There's no denying that the Pixel 10 has very different camera sensors compared to the 10 Pro, the previous 9 Pro. Like, we know that. But the videos that I've watched, okay, and I've watched a total of 10 different creators' videos, right? So that's 10 different creators, and that's the amount of Pixel 10 Pro coverage that they've posted. If some posted 3 videos, I've watched all 3. If some posted 5 videos, I've watched all 5. But that's like a pattern that I'm noticing is like, when it comes to the camera, they like to mention, like, which isn't wrong. The Pixel 10 base model's camera sensors is a downgrade from the Pixel 9. Even with the added telephoto, it's still a downgrade from the Pixel 9. That is not disputed. But when these guys are unboxing Pixel 10 Pros or 10 Pro XLs, and then they're doing their reviews, and then they're focusing on the cameras, and they're talking about like, oh yeah, it is a subtle, it's a thing that I've noticed, it's a downgrade, yada yada yada. And it's like, okay, well, all the things you're mentioning, mentioning to people in your video regard the Pixel 10. Even one slipped up and actually called the main sensor a 48 megapixels. So I know they memorized a lot of the specs seen right here. And that has played a factor in their mind. This is the reason why I say, like, if people are going to focus on photography, blind test it. I know it's kind of hard to do because the Pixel 10 was a very leaked phone, so there was so much specs leaked, which is why, like, this year, instead of doing my road to Pixel 10 that I normally do every year, I decided not to. I didn't want to really do too much news on the Pixel 10 because I didn't want to get so much info that would influence my judgment. Getting the Pixel 10 and taking it out of the box and doing all these things, and then people think I'm an idiot because I'm like all excited for it. Like I go hiking and I do a 20 times zoom shot and I'm like all excited for it, and people think I'm stupid because it's like, oh, this chump is getting excited for 20 times zoom. Like, my Galaxy S25 Ultra could do this much zoom and do it clearly, and it's like, yeah, great. Like, your phone could do that, and that's why you bought that phone. That's why you spent your money on that phone. My thing is that the phones that I've had before haven't had that. They haven't had that capability, and now with my Pixel 10, it does have that capability, and it may not be on par with the other ones that's been doing it for a while, but it's a good starting point for me. I think it's a factor when video recordings and low light. That I can tell you, it doesn't matter which Pixel 10 you use. Honestly, that right there, Brian, that is a problem. But if you saw the video I did where I went hiking late at night on North Mountain, and there's like barely any light. Like, we had to, like, my kids and my wife had to use the flashlight on their smartphones to light their path up the mountain that we were going. You can definitely see that not only video but image, some night sight shots just didn't look great. If you haven't seen that video, Brian, go check it out and you'll know exactly what I mean. All that was done with the Pixel 10, and it wasn't the greatest. It was not the greatest. That's one area that I would say I was disappointed in when it came with the Pixel 10, was the night sight. The astrophotography that night was a bust because there was a storm on its way here, which we got pounded by that storm. Pretty sure people on social media know about it because you've been seeing, like, if you're on TikTok a lot, you probably saw some TikToks of people in Phoenix, Arizona, going down the street in an inflatable tube in the flood. Yes, certain areas of the city got flooded. We didn't get flooded badly where, like, we were up to our necks in water. But there are places here in the city where, like, the water really collects and builds, and streets turn into rivers for, like maybe 3 or 4 hours. And not even deep rivers. We're talking about, like, water up, like, above ankle height. You know, you can still stand on the sidewalk in the front of your house, but your street is a river and it's flowing fast down a certain way. And people got in their little rubber tubies and just went down the street. I mean, why not, right? You know, if you live in a city that barely gets any rain and we're consistently in drought effect because it's a desert, the one opportunity that, you know, you can get inflatable floaties and float down the street. Why not? Like people were just like posting all kinds of stuff. I know, like, I'm not making fun of them. I'm just saying, honestly, because there are some people who are homeless. There's homeless families here in Phoenix. It's very hard these days to try to keep your place and everything. But they took advantage of the last 2 days with its rain and thunderstorms. Certain places that that parks that built up into lakes, they were like maybe knee high deep in water. People went out there to take showers. Like, they brought their shampoo, their soap, bathing suits, and they sat in that giant pool in the park and just washed themselves. And some people will laugh at them, and I'm like thinking to myself, like, why do people gotta laugh at people's misfortunes? Like, yes, it's probably funny to you that they're outside taking a shower, but at least they're doing that. And think about it, they're doing you a service, because if you've always complained about a homeless person walking into McDonald's or a Burger King or a Subway or something, and you're like, oh my God, they smell. Well, if a homeless person takes advantage of a thunderstorm and takes a bath and cleans themselves with soap and shampoo and stuff, they're doing you a favor. So quit gawking and making fun of them. Like, I hate when people make fun of other people's misfortunes, man. If you never struggled in your life, then I don't expect you to know, but you will learn. Everybody hits a hard road in their life, and then they get taught a life lesson. Been around for 43 years in this world. I already learned some life lessons, and I'm sure I got hundreds and even if not thousands of more life lessons to learn as I get older. So, anyways, yeah, the night sight shot on the Pixel 10, they weren't all that great. So I'm gonna try again. I'm gonna see what up, B-Tech. I'm gonna see what's up, with night sight. I'm gonna see what makes things, like what will make things interesting and different. But I know for that night that I was doing it, it was a total bust. So the next couple of days, things are gonna clear up. We're not gonna have any thunderstorms, any rain showers, or anything like that. Shout out to the people of Florence, Arizona, for surviving a very rare anomaly. Twin tornadoes touched down outside of Florence, Arizona. There's a lot of videos floating around on TikTok. It's pretty badass. But I know a lot of people had to have been scared because, people that live here in Arizona, we're not built for tornadoes. Uploading the video on the scooter. Nice. I'm going to check it out once it's done. Once I'm done with this live stream, I'll check it out, man. But yeah, definitely for sure. But like, yeah, we had some interesting weather. The weather's been weather the last couple of days. Had fun shooting with a chest mount for the first time. Nice. So it's like a chest mount that mounts your smartphone, or do you have like an action cam now that you're using with it? Oh yeah, so it's a phone mount then. That's pretty cool. You didn't DM me the link where you got that, because maybe I can use that to that way I don't have to hold my phone with with a tripod or with a monopod. I can strap it to my chest and go on a hike. Smartphone chest mount. I'll look it up. But anyways, yeah. So when it comes to the camera department, I think some people are just way overshooting what is facts. Now, opinion wise, if someone records a video with the Pixel 10 Pro and says that they don't like it, that's their opinion, right? But you got to be able to state opinion from fact, and most of the time what we as creators on YouTube do, we really state a lot of opinion, right? Like, someone could even say what I'm saying right now is strictly opinion, and I guess so, because it's my perspective based upon what I'm reading and what I know from my phone that I'm sharing with people. The facts of the phone, I can tell you guys the facts of the phone. Is it made out of solid material? Yes, that's a fact. Does it have cameras built into it? Yeah, that's a fact. I don't know. I'll send it right now. It comes with a head mount also. Oh, the head mount would probably be pretty good too. I would love to have the head mount, because then it would give it from my height view as I'm hiking and stuff like that. That'd be pretty cool. I'm sure you're enjoying the zoom capabilities on the Pixel 10. Having a zoom lens is better than not having it. Yeah, it really is. And shockingly, just how good the the 20 times zoom is on the Pixel 10. So I can only imagine what people can do with 100 times zoom. I mean, from the top of North Mountain, which I would say, let me see what it is. Let's open it and let's ask Google. How far is North Mountain from downtown Phoenix? There you go. So the photo, if you look at my photos with, where I was up North Mountain and I took a picture of downtown Phoenix. I zoomed in 20 times zoom and took a picture of it. Now you know how far downtown Phoenix was from that point where I shot the photo from. 14 miles away. That's pretty good. That's dang good because it got the cityscape, and it was clear. And I know people would be like, well, AI did all that, image processing. Well, what's the point of having a phone that utilizes AI if you're not going to allow it to utilize it? It's pretty stupid. Okay. That's like, building a smartphone with camera sensors and not installing a camera app to govern the cameras. Like, come on. I know that the 20 times zoom that I take is cleaned up heavily by AI. I know that. No, I'm not on Restream. I'm on OBS. I definitely know that, and that's a crazy thing about it. Like people, when they want to like have this this argument thing with you to have ground to stand on, for them to be Obi-Wan Kenobi in the Anakin duel, they want to throw that like, oh, the most of that is done by AI. But yeah, but so's what's done on the Galaxy S25 Ultra. Like, you're gonna go over there to Samsung Knights and start telling them about that? No. I know it is very hard to trust YouTubers on their opinions about phones. I know the same rule applies to me. I don't think of myself outside of that box. So there are people who like watch my videos about the Pixels and like, yeah, I'm not gonna listen to this guy because he's a fan of it, so he's always gonna hype it up. And I want someone with realness to their videos and whatever, and I'm like, I think you should listen to those who are fans of Google Pixels. They give you a perspective of why they're excited for it, why they enjoy it. But you also need to hear it from those who are not fans. I don't mean people who are just like, yeah, I like Google Pixels, but I prefer Apple or I prefer Samsung. Like, not those guys. I'm talking about the ones that don't like Google Pixels. So you could take like what I've said and what other creators who are fans of Pixels, what they say, and then put it against somebody who doesn't like the brand, and then you'll find a middle ground area to kind of just like start skewing. Like, okay, this is middle ground. He likes this, but he doesn't like this. And go from there. So yeah, I mean, for the camera department, that's just like, yeah, it's a big wowzer. It's a big wowzer. The reason why that I feel like that non-Pixel fans would enjoy the Google Pixel 10 is because there are several things that everyday people don't like. Like, for instance, yesterday, I spoke to my dad. I had to calm down from a situation. If you follow me on Facebook and you've read my long post and you pretty much know kind of have an idea of what happened yesterday. And I got into it with this dude, and I'm not going to go any further than that because I still want to get angry again. But, like I was talking to my dad yesterday, and, he had the spam protection on his Pixel. And so when I called him, I heard the AI assistant take the call and was like asking who I was, and I'm like, oh yeah, this is your son, and I just wanted to call you to calm down. And then it was like, oh, we'll be connecting you now. And then you hear this weird ring, and then my dad picks up. My dad's like, did you hear it? He was like all excited, and he's all like, did you hear it? Did you hear it? Did you hear what it said? It was screening your call. He's like, I don't know if Pixels just got these now or not, but I just discovered it and turned it on. I'm like, yeah, spam protection. It's been on for like the longest time. My dad's like, well, I'm enjoying it. And my dad has it completely on. Like, every call is intercepted by Gemini before it actually rings his phone. So my dad rarely, he rarely gets calls. Like, it's just And as long as I listen to my dad talk about it, and my dad's not a Pixel fan. The only reason my dad sticks with it is because, like, I think it was, man, it was several years ago. Because I like the first Pixel that I gave my dad was the Pixel 4a, and then he's had that phone all the way up until 2 years ago. It was 2 years ago? No, 3 years ago. Because 3 years ago, I got a BTEX Pixel 6a, and he sent that to my dad, and so my dad's been using it. It's been his phone since. So anyways, I'm about to upgrade him to probably the 8a or the 9a. But anyways, my dad, he uses Pixels because he's gotten used to it since the Pixel 4a, like the icons and stuff like that. He knows what they look like. So it's like my younger sister gifted my dad a S21 Ultra, and he denied that for his Pixel. It's not that, that the S21 Ultra wasn't a good enough phone for him. He's just, his thing is like, I have to get used to an entirely new, different user interface. I don't want to. Like, give me another Pixel because the user interface is going to look somewhat the same. Like, yes, it's gone through iteration changes, right? Android 13 to 14 to 15 to now 16. There's been some slight changes, especially with 16 Material 3 Expressive. There's been some major changes. But it's not major changes where my dad can't identify where his camera app is, where his browser app is, where his, YouTube app is. Like, and I know people could be like, well, on Samsung with, One UI, those icons look the same. Like, yes, the third-party icons and some of the mainstream icons like YouTube are going to look the same. But like the camera app, the browser, those things that my dad uses don't look the same. And that's what my dad's talking about. So, for now, he's gonna stay on Google Pixel. Would be interesting to see a zoom photo with and without AI cleanup to see how much it really does. That would be, I don't know, maybe if someone builds a custom ROM that allows you to disable that would be great. Because there's no disabling that within the photos. Trust me, there's people who ask, it's like they ask me like, take a photo without the AI cleanup, and it's like you can't. Because once you snap that 20 times zoom photo, it is being processed with AI. AI is cleaning up the image in that moment that it gives you that little wheel of processing that's like half a second. It's cleaning it up no matter what. And there's not a setting in the camera app that allows you to disable it. So if someone builds a custom ROM, like say like the guys from Evolution X, if they build a custom ROM for the Pixel 10, and they have that turned on in a native camera app that they've worked on and packaged together, they could probably have something put in place, written, with code, and that allows you to toggle on and off AI processing. And then maybe then we can actually get some real images of like 20 times zoom with that main sensor. But I can say this on a hunch: if you turn off AI processing, I'm pretty sure the photos is going to look like it was shot from a potato. I think you maybe will see like the defining outlines of each building. If I went back up to North Mountain and took a photo of downtown Phoenix, I think you could like distinguish the buildings. I don't think you would have that clear of like what it looks like. Like I'll pull the photo up. Yeah, let's open up my Google Photos. There's not anything there that I gotta worry about people seeing. So also people are afraid to open up their photo albums because they're like afraid, like, oh my god, there might be a photo there. No, I'm not worried about it. I'll try to find that one photo where Actually, I'll show you this one for night sight. I think this one I actually took like normally in the dark. So, okay, this is a photo up North Mountain, and we are pointed towards Scottsdale, Arizona. So that's what this is out here. These lights is Scottsdale. You can see the highway that, is how we get to North Mountain to go hiking. So there's like a parking lot thing down here, and then we hike up the mountain all the way to the top. Anyways, this is a regular night photo. Okay. This is like, point and shoot, no night sight. No night sight at all. As you can see, like where it's hazy right here, this was a thunderstorm, not head, but like, a thunderstorm system moving in. This is what gave us that what Phoenix calls monsoon thunderstorm, where streets turn into rivers. Yeah, so this is the night before, but this is just a regular point and shoot night photo. No night sight turned on. Okay. So I'll look for, let's see. I'll find a, okay, so this was the photo that I attempted astrophotography. Now, mind you, you just saw a night photo shot from on top of North Mountain. Yeah, you saw how dark it was. Okay, I have to remind you of that context. Think of that photo I just first showed you. Because voila, astrophotography. And so with astrophotography, this looks like 5 to 6 a.m. in the morning. This looks like sunrise. Granted, you got detail on on the mountain, right? There's like, this is an edge right here. There's a drop in the ravine. So these aren't bushes. Those are tops of trees. But this looks like 6 a.m. in the morning. So yeah, favorite device so far is the tablet. That is like my favorite device so far. And I'm still getting used to the N20 from New Mobile. But obviously, it's a budget phone, so I do feel the pinch of lack of power compared to a Pixel. But for the most part, it's pretty good. And then the Tozo S6 AccuFit Evo does actually have longer battery than the regular S6 watch. So that would be like the difference between those two. And I've been using it because it's light and it doesn't weigh down my wrist, and it tracks. It's semi-accurate, but I mean, that's coming in a review video. I don't want to give too much away on that. Pixels have the purpose built astrophotography mode that does a 4-minute time lapse, but it only triggers if it's really dark and there's not much light pollution. Astrophotography mode is extraordinary. You really will see. Yeah, no. I've done astrophotography with like the Pixel 7. I've done it with the Pixel 6. I've done it with the Pixel 4a. I've had my experience with astrophotography. It's not a new thing around for me. What I was saying is that because of the night, and there wasn't pollution, but there was a storm coming in. So of course, there wasn't much stars out. There was a lot of haze over the city. So what it did for me, rather than getting me, I mean, there's like one star right there where my mouse is pointing, like one star right there. But it basically made it look like morning. So obviously, it's letting, the lens is opening up and it's allowing a lot in order to capture all these details. So like, if you want to know if it can capture good detail in astrophotography mode, well, yeah, I mean, look at this. I mean, it's not perfect detail. You can't see every individual green stem from this, top of the tree, but nonetheless, you can tell it's a tree there. You can tell the rock. You can see the shadows in the rock and, whatnot. I was hoping to find a surprise like a coyote or a bobcat roaming on here, because there are in that area. So, yeah, but I mean, that is an astrophotography shot. And then I said it was a bust because I didn't, first of all, I didn't get a good angle on that. So there was like only like, wait, I'm counting right here, 1, 2, 3, there's like 4 stars visible. I don't know, with like editing and stuff like that, I could probably clean that up, but I wanted more of the sky, and it actually said 80% of the photo body is the mountain top. So yeah, that wasn't a very good example. And then let's see, there's this one. I believe this one was an astrophotography attempt. Let the photo load. Oh no, this was a time lapse. Yeah, astrophotography time lapse. I tested it out. You can see some of the stars there, but hang on. Let me I don't want to do the time lapse one. I want to show you the still photo one. So that would be this one. Now, this one would have been pretty cool if there wasn't a thunderstorm coming. This would have been pretty cool. You can see some of the stars up here in the corner, and you know what? I'll post these to the YouTube community thread here, so you guys can see the photos and zoom in yourselves. You can still see some of the details. You know, this is like somebody's like mansion on top of their mountain over there, and there's like a hotel resort down here. I guess they probably own that. It's on their property. That's their mountain. Anyways. But yeah, you can see the haze on the horizon. That's a storm coming in. And there's like, you know, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, and then 12 up there. 13 down here. There's 13 stars you can see in there. Now, if I went through a lot of more, you know, post editing, I could probably really clean this up and make it, you know, look like an amazing astrophotography shot. But to me in itself, this is what I got. Straight point and shoot, just allowing it, you know, to have that form. And it was 4 minutes. You were right. It was 4 minutes because once astrophotography was enabled after the phone was still on my tripod for like, I think it was like 25 seconds. And I tapped it and it was like 4 minutes and it was just going down. And you see it like consistently taking photo. I think it was like every 2 or 3 seconds it took a photo. You saw like a ring spin. To let you know that it captured photo, and you know, was processing and putting all those photos together. So all the photos, it took it 4 minutes to create this one photo to bring out the stars in the sky and, you know, whatnot. So yeah, this is with the Pixel 10. This is with this astrophotography. So and I'll show you a night sight one. So night sight video wasn't the greatest. See if I find it here. As I know, like I caught the thunderstorm. Let's see if I open this. Here's to you, Mrs. Robinson. I'm waiting for this thing to load. Yeah, so the astrophotography is not. Yeah, that's not the thunderstorm time lapse. Where is that at? That ain't it. Man, I have all these photos and everything. Like, Well, here's a night sight photo. So I'll show you guys. This is with night sight on. So that's the parking lot that we parked at when we started hiking up the trail. This is like a quarter up the mountain. So there's Phoenix. All right. So downtown Phoenix is like right here. That is 14 miles away from where I'm at. And the 20 times zoom can get the city with AI processing. I'll show you that photo. I know that's what I was originally looking at. Then I got like caught up in the whole, you know, night sight shot and everything. Let's see. It's up here. It's backed up to Google Photos. So it better be. That was the run that we did. So we hiked before that day. Boom, found it. Or that ain't it. Where's it at? Where is it at? Oh, there it is. Boom. Okay. Yeah, there it is. All right. 20 times zoom. Okay. 14 miles away. I'm on North Mountain. This is downtown Phoenix. Let's zoom in. Yeah, that's downtown Phoenix. So, I mean, this building you don't even see like the hotel windows. And you can see that over here off to the left, but in the forefront of the, of the city skyline, you can see this building, and it's like mirrors on this building. I know what building this is, and you can see like the floor by floor. You can see the details on that over here. This is 20 times zoom on the Pixel 10. Okay, so just imagine if the 10 Pro with ProRes zoom is turned on and just boom, straight in there. You probably can zoom all the way into this building. That is crazy. So, yeah, let's go in more. Yeah, that's the detail from 20 times zoom. What's even crazy is you can see South Mountain. When I hike South Mountain, there's the radio towers that I go to South Mountain. From there, I probably can get like a good silhouette image of North Mountain or Camelback Mountain from South Mountain. So, you know, I'm still gonna like have some more photography videos since that's like my hobby. But still haven't tried night photography with the Pixel 10 Pro. Hey man, well, you know, you got a tripod, got some time, some downtime at night, maybe like at 10 o'clock at night, go out to an area that you know of that doesn't have a lot of light. You know, make sure you have a backup phone for emergencies in case, you know, because it could get pretty dangerous, and then try out some astrophotography shots from your area. I would say that'd be pretty cool. Something to test out on the Pixel 10 Pro. You know, yeah, so the cameras and all that stuff, yeah, I don't know. Those people that were doing reviews and what they were talking about, I don't know what they're talking about, or if they're heavily influenced by specifications, I don't know. But like I said, you know, there are some fun features. AI in a phone definitely can be helpful. I told you guys the story of my dad and what, you know, what he went through with having this spam protection turned on. I'm gonna show him how to do the hold for me, so when he has to contact, you know, his banks and say that they're very busy and they're like, oh, your expected time is, you know, 45 minutes. My dad doesn't have to hang up that call, especially if they don't offer a callback. And my dad doesn't like the callbacks because they forget to call back. And I told my dad, I know how that works because I worked in call centers. If you call a call center and they're like, your expected wait time is 45 minutes, you can have us save your spot in line, and we'll give you a call back, or you can continue to wait if you choose. And then if you choose a callback, what happens is that it, like in the call queue, you already have a number assigned once you're waiting to talk to a rep. So that number is assigned to you when you disconnect. What it does is it puts you on a callback list, and then the system generates which rep is going to get that. So like say like if you were the next person in line on the call, and I was wrapping up my call with the customer, and I ended the call after putting in my notes on the customer's account, then my computer will have a pop-up that says, you know, schedule callback. Customer's name, their account will populate on my screen, and then it will start calling the customer. And once the customer answers, then I'll tell them like, hi, this is da-da-da-da with your scheduled callback. Please hold while we connect you with the agent. And then it connects me, and then I'm like, hi, how you doing today, sir? See that you scheduled a callback. Just wanted to give you a call back and figure out, you know, how can we assist you today, and going forward there. Anyways, yeah, my dad doesn't like that. He would rather stay on the call. So I'm gonna show my dad how to do the hold for me, where his digital assistant will stay on the call while my dad does his thing, and all my dad has to do is listen for that. You have an active rep on the line right now. And then my dad can run to his phone, or my dad just carries his phone on his belt clip, so he'll just take it off his belt clip and just get back in there and then talk to the rep. So I mean, like, there's all these handy features. You don't have to be a Pixel fan to appreciate that or even want to purchase it. You just word of mouth, you heard about a Google Pixel and you're interested, try one out. Like I said earlier, there are some caveats, and these are caveats that are not everybody's going to go through, right? Not everyone's going to go through. This is something that I'm going through. I've tried everything I could to alleviate the problem, and it sticks. And it's only with one app. That is Pokemon Go. There are times where I launch Pokemon Go and the game crashes so much for some odd reason. Or when I first open the app, it has this speaker pop, and I'm afraid it's going to blow out my speaker. So Pokemon Go is giving me a problem on the Pixel 10. Every other gaming app that I've played, like Super Mario Run, Yu-Gi-Oh! Duel Links, or any of those games, They've been totally fine, no issues at all whatsoever. It's just Pokemon Go. So I don't know if it's something, with like uh the game in itself, the app developer, since there is a switchover. Niantic is selling Pokemon Go to another gaming company. They're getting out of the gaming industry and they're focusing on their augmented reality project. And yeah, so a new company will own Pokemon Go. And I don't know if their developers are currently doing the app updates and causing, this issue or whatever, but I've noticed that with Pokemon Go, there's been an issue. So if you don't play Pokemon Go, then you're not going to worry about that. That's not something that you care about. But for those who play Pokemon Go, you'll notice this. That's probably it. That's probably it that I can say as a negativity on the phone. Everything else, screen, looks nice. Watch my content, nice, rich colors, good. I'm happy with it. Camera qualities, good. I love the photos that I'm taking when I go hiking, and I'm about to go on vacation at the end of October with my older sister, and we're gonna go visit my dad. And so, that's something that it's gonna happen. We're gonna have fun, and I'm gonna take lots of photos. Speaker quality, audio on it, it is great. I have no complaints on the audios coming from the speakers. Bottom firing speaker, top speaker, no problems at all. The weight of the phone, it's not super heavy, but it doesn't feel like it's a toy. Have no problems with there. Of course, I'm always nervous because it's a glass back, glass front. I don't want to drop it and crack it and make it look ugly. So yeah, I keep it wrapped up in a case. As a matter of fact, I keep it in a case that B-Tech gave me. B-Tech got, I guess, some cases from Tudia, and he sent me one of them, and he sent me a color that I really dig. I really like this color. And so I put a pop socket onto it, right? Because yes, this case completely takes away the wireless charging capability. I laid it on my wireless charging pad. It would not charge at all whatsoever. I was like, that's fine. I use wire charging anyways. And so I have this on my phone pretty much all the time now. And it's a nice fit. I like it. Am I going to get an official Google case for the Pixel 10? Probably not, because I really like this Tudia case. Like, it just goes. Honestly, I just like the way that it goes. And I mean, that's a nice fit. And then I got the pop socket, which, I always have the interchangeable, little, the little socket grips. This one's a 3D one I got. The bowl of ramen noodles. I love this thing. I can't find my Gengar one. Like, since I moved from the old place to this place, like, everything got boxed up. I can't find my Gengar one because I have a metal Gengar. He's somewhere. Hopefully I can find it because I can switch it up, right? I have like a bunch of different, pop socket, little grip pucks or whatever you call them. I've got Baby Yoda, aka Grogu. Yeah, there's like a couple of them, and then I buy more pop sockets from like people on OfferUp so I can collect them. Like, some people have like Marvel graphic ones and things like that. I just like having those different ones, just depending on how I feel. Yeah, man. Whenever you send those out, just let me know. So that way I can be on the lookout for it. But yeah, it's a great experience, and this whole thing of like only Pixel fans will like it. I mean, it's just not cool. Like, there are non-Pixel fans that are gonna like it. There are non-Pixel fans. I mean, there are people who are tired of iPhone. Okay, let's be real. Like, iPhones is not the all perfect phone, and so there are people who are gonna be tired of using the same old thing. Sometimes I get Pixel fatigue. Sometimes I'm just like, I'll move my sim over to my Nothing Phone 1, or I'll move it over to a OnePlus 9, just to use something different, just to use something that is like a palette cleanser. And eventually I miss my Pixels and I go right back to them and enjoy all the wonderful benefits. But I think what's helped me lately without getting like fatigue for using a certain phone, honestly, is not really being involved in mobile tech so much. Like, if I'm not deeply rooted in mobile tech, which it's like a stupid thing to tell you guys because my channel's based on talking about mobile tech, but when I've gone out, done things with the family, if I've gone out hiking, also what's been helping me lately is I've been doing podcasts with B-Tech on our wrestling podcast, the Deathlock podcast, DLP. If you're not subscribed to it and you're a fan of wrestling, please go subscribe. We are on the road to 200 subscribers, and you know, we've been we do a lot of coverage. He goes on TikTok with the DLP profile on TikTok, and he live streams PLEs and does live reactions to them. So, anyways, yeah, that's been helping out a lot because, you know, when my focus is not on mobile tech, you know, it just really just helps with it. I mean, I haven't moved my main SIM out of this phone since I got this phone, right? And of course, yes, people would be like, well, you're a cheater because you have Google Fi and you have, you know, those data only eSIM cards that, or eSIMs you can install on your phones. I'm like, yes, I do. But like a lot of my phones don't have eSIMs in them anymore. I had shut a lot of them down. I think the only one that has an eSIM is my Pixel 6, which I am working on a comparison video between photography from that phone and from the Pixel 10. And then I just put the physical data only SIM inside of my my Pixel 2 XL, which I'm going to take out and compare a triple camera setup versus a single camera setup. And can you still get great photos with a single camera sensor? That video is coming here soon. These are videos that I like to make, so they weren't requested or anything like that. But you know what? I always make these videos in case somebody out there really wants to know about these things. So I have a video for you. But yeah, these things are coming later on this upcoming week. There's also going to be some times where like I'm walking and vlogging. Since my wife's car is currently disabled right now, so later on today I gotta jack the car up and take the back left tire off because the tire seized up on me. Well, on us yesterday. Yesterday we were doing an Amazon Flex. We were downtown near the State Fair area. All of a sudden we heard a squeal. We smelled burnt rubber. She pulled over, and I inspected the car. I told her to put it in gear and let off the brake and just let it roll forward slowly. And when it started to roll, the back left tire did not turn, and it was grinding against the ground. And I told her stop, put the car in park. And yeah, so today I gotta take that tire off because I gotta check to see if it's two things: if the caliper is corroded and if the brake piston is stuck. That could be the reason that it's locking up, or it could be the wheel bearing that is corroded that I gotta replace. When I had it towed here on a flatbed last night, when we took it off the flatbed, the tires moved when it was coming off the flatbed. And when my wife drove it into the parking garage, it moved for like a good 30 seconds and then it locked up again and ABS kicked on. And I was like, okay, yeah, I'm pretty sure it's more than likely it's going to be like the caliper. Anyways, I'll know when I take that off. So I'm about to be doing that, working on the car here later on today, and taking that tire off and working on it. So my wife has my SUV. She has my SUV and she's using it to go to and from work. She left to work this morning with it. I told her I'm sorry because like the AC went out on my SUV, right? So I don't have working AC in mine. And I'm saving up to eventually have the money to go and get that repaired because more than likely it's the compressor that went out and I have to get that replaced, but that's like a $1,200 job. And yeah, I don't have $1,200 to just spend like that. And I know one of my friends was like, make a GoFundMe. Like, I'm not going to ask people to freaking give me money so I can get it fixed. Like, I just have to save. It's why you learn how to save. You put money away, you don't touch it, and it builds and builds and builds until you have the money for it. And you go and you get your car fixed, or you go and you get whatever you need to get done, right? It's called saving. So anyways, but yeah, she's using it. So like until either A, because it's still her decision, either A, we fix the car, B, we take the car to the dealership, we trade it in. I know they're not going to give us top dollar for the for the vehicle because it is slightly disabled, but you take that as a down payment towards another car. Remaining balance owed on that can be put on top of the new car that you're financing, and she'll get another car whenever she decides to do that. And so for however long it takes her, whether it's a month, 2 months, or 3 months, I am walking every day to my kids' school to pick them up and walking home with them, which is like a half-hour walk. But it's a good walk for someone who's type 2 diabetic. So either way, it's good exercise for me to be doing that. So, and I may just, vlog. I may just like vlog whatever, what I'm thinking about in tech or whatever's out there. So you guys will probably start seeing some of those videos. I know I've neglected my shorts channel, so I'm like, I don't even know how I got a new subscriber. I went from 43 to 44 subscribers on the shorts channel. I'm like, how the hell did I pull that off? I haven't posted a shorts in like a week or two. you know. Somebody, oh, I'm being nosy. I'm like, it sounded like someone opened the gate to my property, but I know my wife locked it before she left, so they can't get in. Yeah, you don't need to be a Pixel fan to enjoy it. And I wish people would stop saying that and stop pushing that narrative. Right? You don't need to be a Pixel fan to enjoy a Google Pixel phone. Right? If the Pixel phones have what you're looking for in a smartphone, then go for it. Who cares what anyone thinks? I'm a firm believer in buy what you want to buy. It's your money. You know, JG Wentworth that shit. It's your money. Do what you want with it. I need a stand-up scooter. Yeah, but then that would be like that would be mean because I don't think you can fit 3 people on a stand-up scooter safely and roll down the road. Because my youngest son and my youngest daughter, they go to the same school together because their school is elementary, junior high combined, or middle school combined, basically. So it's from grade K to grade 8. Eighth graders after that, they go to the high school of their choice, which my daughter, after this year, when this school year is over, she's going to the same high school as her sister. She's following her big sister, and that's that. So yeah, it's gonna be pretty interesting. Let's see how things go with them. Yeah, so I couldn't fit 2 other people on there with me safely and ride home. Especially, I would just rather walk, or like I would probably like. If it was like a couple of months that I had to do this until we saved up, to get another video, I probably would start off walking and little by little build up towards running. Like, and good thing the car broke now because the weather's going down. So like I know like the rest of this coming week, it's going to be in the mid 90s to high 90s, which is totally fine. I'll take that heat over it being 117 outside. So I would go walk, get my kids, and we'll walk home together. And then my son would do his homework, my daughter would do her homework. I would take if I got really sweaty, I would jump in and take a fast shower, come out, have some some snack with them, and then when they're done with their homework, check their homework, make sure everything's good, and then chill out with them. So it'll work out. Like it's gonna be fun. My wife feels so bad though. She was just like, I am so sorry I broke the car. I'm like, you didn't break the car. Like, wear and tear happens. You know what I mean? This is why I would tell people, like, when people are like, is doing gig work, like doing Amazon Flex, worth it? I mean, if you're in my situation where you're a family that kind of struggles, yeah, because you can use the extra money, but you also have to realize you're putting wear and tear on your car. And, I would say, this wasn't particularly wear and tear from doing Amazon Flex. This was more of like when we got into that accident where we were rear-ended, and this was like damage to the vehicle that we didn't notice until it progressed and got seriously bad. And now it's just disabled the vehicle. So like I said, I'm pretty sure, I'm like hoping it's just the caliper that's like the brake piston and the caliper that's stuck, because then I can use the caliper piston. Like, you don't even need to get that tool, because like they have a special tool that pushes that caliper in. You don't even have to get a special tool for that. You can use a C clamp. Like if you get one of those giant C clamps that spins to close up, you can put that in there, fit it into the to the back of the caliper, and then the bar itself where the piston's at, and just slowly crank it, and it pushes it in and pushes the piston in. Of course, you got to pop open the brake fluid reservoir, so because you don't, it'll help alleviate some. Like if you want to, you can use like a syringe and take out some of the brake fluid, just so then that way when you're pushing that piston in, of course that level in the reservoir is going to rise, but it'll allow you to push that piston in a little bit more easier. And of course, if you need to change your brake pads down, that would be the time to do it. You take the brake pads out after you've taken the caliper completely off, take the brake pads out, put the new ones in, and of course inspect the rotors, because my car, it's 4 rotors. It's not 2 rotors in the front, 2 drums in the back like the olden day cars. But yeah, so that would be the time to change the brake pads. And I'll just, if I have to change the brake pads after inspecting it, if it's viable and that's what it is, I have to change the brake pads, I might as well just do all the other ones. So then I might as well get ready to, like, do a lot of heavy work and jacking up the car 4 different times to just change all the the brake pads so they're all at the same length of life. Yeah. Yeah, Amazon Flex is where you deliver for Amazon. Yeah, you deliver packages, and it's so weird because they have what's called Amazon Fresh, where you go to Whole Foods and you pick up orders and you drop it off to customers' houses. But Amazon Flex does that too. So you get boxes, you get the little Amazon plastic, envelope bags and those bubble bags. You get it all of them, paper envelopes with stuff in it. You deliver it to customers' houses, but you also get groceries too. Like they pack groceries, and so sometimes we get groceries in our block. Sometimes it's good money. Like the other day, what was it? Yesterday morning, from we had a block from 3:45 to 6:45 a.m. It was a 3-hour block. It was, I think, if I'm not mistaken, I think it was 18 stops. 18 stops, about $76. And like, that's nothing. I mean, some people would be like, 3-hour block, like you can drive and deliver them and use up the whole 3 hours you have to deliver them. But like me and my wife, we were done like an hour and a half before our scheduled end time. So we finished, we finished at 5 a.m. Yeah, we picked up our block at 3:45 a.m. in the morning. We were done at 5. No, we were done way before that. We were done at 4:45. We were done in an hour, less than an hour. I remember because it was when we delivered the last package, which was the 18th stop, had 2 boxes. I carried it for my wife. I go with my wife on these things regardless of what Amazon says, because some of those boxes are like extremely heavy and I don't want her carrying it. So I carry it. I run it up to the door for her, and she just scans the package and then takes a picture as proof of delivery. That's the way Amazon Flex wants its Flex drivers to deliver packages. So I carried both of those up there. We got back to the car. She swiped to close out her itinerary that she delivered every package. And it was like 4:33 in the morning that we were done. So it wasn't even an hour. It took us less than that in the area that they sent us to. And then from there, I was like, I wanted to go to HTO, which is like a drink shop that, they have some of the most badass teas. If you've never had HTO, definitely go check them out. They have this root beer tea. So it's a tea that tastes exactly like root beer soda without the carbonation. It is so delicious, and it's a seasonal tea, so I'm waiting for it to come back so I can get another one. I think it comes around in spring. Anyways, they were closed, so I couldn't go there to get tea. So I ended up, just because I was too tired, I ended up just telling my wife, let's just go home and take a nap, because we had another Flex order to do yesterday, which is the one where the car broke down doing it. Of course, Amazon was like, we had to tell them like we still had like half our packages still in the car. They were like, okay, after you get your car towed, safely bring back those packages you couldn't deliver. And then they paid us out. So we got paid out $74 for another 3-hour window that we were doing. We were working 2:15 to 5:15. And there was 34 drops. But then, it's based on the neighborhood, because like some places you go to, like, they pay you on the distance that you're driving and how many delivery stops you're doing. And if it's like residential housing, if it's apartments, if it's lofts, or if it's businesses. So yeah, like, because we had an issue, we had to take those packages back. I felt bad because all those people waiting for their packages. I know how that feels like. I was like pissed off. So, I was like, oh man. Those people are not getting their packages today. They're going to have to be rerouted, and they'll be getting it today. But yeah, we took we were like halfway through. So yeah, we still got paid the full amount that we were supposed to get paid for that 3-hour block. So the way that Amazon does it, there's times where like, if they've overbooked so many drivers and they have nothing for drivers to deliver, which was funny because it happened the day before yesterday. My wife was excited because we went to do a Flex, and then they were like, it looks like there are no routes for you at this time. You are able to go home, right? So like, we had to be there at, I think it was morning. It was like 4 a.m. in the morning. We had to go. And so when you get there and you check in at your scheduled block time, which was 4 a.m., and then they tell you, like, like, please wait, we're getting your route put together for you. So you can go sit in your car and wait. You just wait for the app to tell you, like, they have a and so, like, we were just sitting there, me and my wife, we were just talking about everything going on, plans for our trip to my dad's and everything. And it was like 4:31 in the morning, and then that message popped up, and it was like, it looks like we don't have a route for you guys today. Like, you're free to go home. And my wife was all happy, because when that happens, even though they couldn't give you a route because you drove to the facility to pick up a route to deliver, they pay you whatever the block was worth. So that one, I think that one was $94. So she got paid $94 for nothing, to do nothing. She just had to show up at the Amazon Flex site, and then she got paid. So there are times, it's very rarely it happens, but there are times where they can't assign you a block because, it's not like they don't have any routes for you. There are some routes. Oh, it's getting laggy. Ooh, not good. Okay, hang on. Let's close that out. Let's see. But there are some times where, like they have routes still available, because you'll see other people coming in for like their 4:30 shift or their 5 o'clock shift, and they're getting routes. But the reason why I told you it has no routes for you is because their system tries to match you a route based on distance and how much is in the in the order that is equivalent to the pay that they're giving you, right? So they're not going to give you something that, like, they're not going to pay you $65 to do a 2-hour window and then give you 75 drops. They won't do that. So they, like, they had routes. They just didn't have any that fit the block time and the amount of pay that they were paying my wife. So she just ended up getting paid just for showing up. I figured it was the browser and everything like that, because I started noticing that even on the browser side, like, those ads were starting to they were starting to freeze. So I was like, oh, that's not good. Let me close out the browser window, because I don't need it. I mean, I have the chat window open that way. That's why I'm like looking this way, because I'm like reading your guys' stuff. But other than that, man, I mean, yeah, the Flex stuff is pretty decent. It's not bad. Yeah, it's actually pretty decent. So what I would do is, if you're interested in doing Amazon Flex, is actually signing up for it right now, because there's, like, I don't know how your area is, but like here in my city, there's a pretty decent waiting list. Some people have waited like 3 months to be accepted into the Amazon Flex program. So it is kind of like an application type thing, job interview type, but it's not really a job interview. It's just like, you set up your Amazon Flex account. You give them the necessary information that they need. Obviously, your driver's license. They can access your driving record history and stuff like that. Vehicle, make, model, year, insurance on it, and all that stuff. And then you have to, like, watch this 15-minute video that explains, like, how to deal with, like, customers who have dogs in their front yard and stuff like that. They got the real cheesy hiring videos. You see, like, it's not even they don't even use like an aggressive dog in the video. I was like laughing when my wife was like watching it with me, and because she had to watch it, and I was like, oh, look, the Amazon Flex driver, he looks a little nervous to walk in that gate, but he decides to go, and he walks up and shows he's not a threat to the dog. And it's like a border collie that walks up to the guy, and I'm like, show us a pit bull, like, show us a freaking, like like, what was it, a Dojo Argentino? Show us one of those, like, bully breeds. Show us those. Freaking border collie comes walking up, tail wagging and everything. Like, of course he's gonna be a little friendly. Like, not to say that the border collie can't do damage, but border collies are more reasonable to check you out before assuming you're a threat. Pit bulls and the American Staffordshire, terriers, and what's the other ones? Rottweilers, like those are the less I'm gonna scope you out and be friendly with you at first until I catch your vibe. Those are the ones that's like, you're in my territory, you're gonna get torn up, so yeah. But you'll have to go through all that, and then it's the waiting period where they have, because they don't want to overflood and have like a lot of people on the Flex program. So get your application in now, and yeah. That way, if there's a waiting period, you're already on that waiting. You're on that waiting period, and when something is available with Flex, then they'll bring you in, because you can get fired from Flex. Yes, it's possible, and I'll tell you guys, it's pretty crazy. As a matter of fact, if you guys want me to like do like a video about these digital gigs and how they work out for a lot of Americans, I do Amazon Flex, I've done DoorDash, I know B-Tech's done it, so maybe me and B-Tech can do a collab talking about it. But if you guys want one of those videos, I'd be happy to make one. I guess it's tech, because you are using your phone. Your phone is your hub into making this money. Let me know, because I do have to go. I didn't realize how long I've been on here, but I do got to go. So yeah, I will see you guys tomorrow with another video. You guys be cool, be safe, stay safe out there for sure. Definitely stay safe out there. And yeah, I will talk to y'all on the next one.